Okay, good morning, guys. In the last session, we discussed about class and object. So we started the in that we started the discussion with oops, right? So today, we'll discuss about from then to till now, meaning so almost we completed 20 sessions, right? So from then to till now, we use the notepad. We use the notepad to write the Java programs, right? So from in the OOPS concepts onward, we will use the IDE. We will use the IDE. So why the IDEs and what is the purpose of IDEs? So we'll try to understand about Notepad and IDE. Notepad and IDE. Okay. So the thing is, so from then to so last 20 days we used the Notepad only. Okay. Last 20 days we used Notepad to write the Java programs. Notepad to write the Java programs. To write the Java programs. Okay. Next thing is generally you can use text editors to write the Java programs. So that might be the anything Notepad, Notepad plus plus. We can use text editor to write the Java programs. Text editor to write the Java programs. To write the Java programs. To write the Java programs. And so after that we compiled and executed by using the command prompt, right? We compiled and executed. We compiled and executed by using command prompt by using the command prompt. So these are the things we learned. We did the programs like this command prompt. Okay. And the thing is, so this is with respect to notepad. We are saying with the notepad. Okay. Okay. So if you go with the notepad, so if you use the notepad, it will take lot of time. It will take lot of time to write the programs. To write the programs, it will take. Okay, if you use the notepad, it will take. It will take lot of time. Lot of time to write the programs. To write the Java programs. To write the Java programs. So this is the time taking process. Okay, this is the time taking process. This is the time taking process. This is the time taking process. And time taking process. So that is the reason in the companies, so everybody in companies, we will use IDs to write the programs. In companies, we will use the in companies we use IDs to write Java programs. Okay, to write Java programs. To write Java programs. Again, what does it mean by IDE? IDE meaning integrated development environment. IDE meaning okay, fine. So I will repeat one more time. So notepad meaning we use the notepad to write the programs from then to till now, and we can use the text editor to write the programs. So if you go with the notepad approach, so what we did in the last 20 sessions, we compiled and executed by using the command prompt. And if you use the notepad, it will take lot of time to write the Java programs, and this is the time taking process. So that is the reason in companies we will use IDs to write the programs. IDs will write the program. So if you go with the notepad, what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages if you go with the notepad. Disadvantages if you go with the notepad. So the first disadvantage is it will take lot of time. It will take more time to write the Java programs. More time to write the Java programs. And Next disadvantage is we cannot so in notepad debugging is not possible. In notepad debugging, we have the debugging option. Debugging is not possible. Debugging is not possible. Okay, no, debugging is not possible. And it won't give the auto suggestions. Okay, it won't provide any suggestions in any auto suggestions. Auto suggestions. So these are the some drawbacks if you go with the notepad. So that is the reason all companies they will use the IDE. All companies they will use the IDE. So we'll go with IDE. What does it mean by IDE? IDE meaning integrated development environment. Integrated development environment. Development environment. So if you go with the IDE, integrated development environment, okay, so in the companies, in companies we use the IDs to write the Java program. So this is the point. I will copy from there. Okay, in companies we will use IDs to write the Java programs only. Okay. So generally, so here what is the advantage with IDE? So in the market we have the multiple IDs. So in the market we have the multiple IDs. In the market we have the IDs are like below. Like so there are multiple IDs. So for that we have the one website, that is editorconfig.com. Editor config. Yeah, you can go to that website editorconfig.com and you can go there and come down. So these are the IDs. So currently in the market, these are the IDs. So whoever is working in the IT and in the market, so those everybody they are using these IDs. Okay, IntelliJ and Rider. So these many IDs, Eclipse and Visual Studio. Okay, so these are the IDs actually. So if you simply go to the editor.config, then easily you can get the IDs, meaning which IDs are using currently in the market. So you can get the clarity on it. So generally, so I will tell you some tools, some IDs actually. So generally, we will use the Eclipse. Eclipse is the uh, regularly we will use the Eclipse, and we will use the Visual Studio. IntelliJ, we have the IntelliJ also, and we have the Visual Studio. Okay, Visual Studio. So IntelliJ, this one is the commercial. So there we have the two. Actually, we have the two versions. One is the commercial and one is the free version. So if you want to practice with the IntelliJ, you can go with the free version and you can use that one. And IntelliJ normally in the companies, this is the commercial. Commercial meaning so they has to paid for this IDs. They has to pay this IDs. They has to pay this IDs. Okay, and this is the normal one. This is the free version. So in our I would say we can download and then we can use. And then after that we have the Visual Studio. So Visual Studio also we can easily download and then you can use. So generally most of the in the front end cases, no, UI full stack developers, meaning front end developers, so mostly they prefer to use the Visual Studio. They prefer to use the Visual Studio. And for the backend people, they prefer to use the Eclipse and IntelliJ. Okay, Eclipse and IntelliJ. Now, if you come here, these are the IDs. These are the IDs available in the market. These are the IDs available in the market. like Eclipse and NetBeans. Okay, Visual Studio. So these are the IDs. Okay, fine. Now, what is the advantage with the IDs? So, okay, fine. What are the advantages with the IDs? Advantages with IDs. So, the first advantage is we can we can write the programs. We can write the programs easy. We can write the programs easy. We can write the programs. So, due to that, we can increase the productivity. We can increase the we can increase the productivity. We can increase the productivity. And next thing is it will give the auto suggestions. Next thing is it will give auto suggestions. Next thing is it will give auto suggestions. Like for example, if you are looking for some word, so it will, before that it can identify and it can provide. Before that it can identify like which word you are looking exactly, so it can identify and it can give the suggestions. It will provide. Okay, it will provide auto suggestions. It will provide auto suggestions. It will provide auto suggestions while writing the code. While writing the code. While writing the code. So this is too intelligence compared to us. So before it can identify and then it can give suggestions to us. It can give suggestions to us. Okay. So here id will provide all the tools, all the tools, which are required for development and execution, which are required for development and execution, development and execution, development and execution. Okay, development and execution. So due to that, IDs, we can do debugging. We can do we can do debugging by using the IDs only. We can do the debugging by using IDs. By using IDs. So these are the advantages with the IDs. These are the advantages. What are the advantages generally? And the time taken, very less time. So if you go with the IDs, and you can easily develop the programs, and it will provide the auto sessions while writing the code, and ID will provide all tools which are required for the development and execution, and we can do debugging by using the IDE. We can do a debugging by using the IDE. Okay, fine. How we can download the IDE? So download the IDE is easy process. So the process is you can go Chrome. You can go to the Chrome or any uh, you can go to the Chrome or Mozilla, anything you can go, and then you can look for the IDE download, Eclipse IDE. So in our case, we are downloading the Eclipse IDE download, IDE download. So in our case, we are downloading IDE in 2019 version. So that is the reason 2019 version we are downloading, 2019 Eclipse download. Okay, and you can go to the Chrome and look for 2019 Eclipse download, 2019 Eclipse download. Okay, so you can go to with the first one, Eclipse ID 2019-09 R packages. You can go through that, and now can come down. Okay, so you have to download this one, Eclipse ID for Enterprise Java developers. Eclipse ID for Enterprise Java editions. So based on your system configuration, you can download. How you know your system configuration? Simply you can go to your this PC and click on the properties. Then you can get the then you can get your system properties. Based on that, you can download. Okay, in my case, my system configuration is Windows 84 and 64. So simply I am taking that, and then it will be download automatically. So I will download in my downloads, okay, and then save. So which is in the format of zip format, okay. You have to extract that zip format. How you can extract? So initially, which is in zip format. So once the download is completed, then you should extract that one. Then you should extract that one. That I will show you. This is downloading. You can extract, and then where you open, where you can get the ID, Eclipse ID. So you can go through that, then you can open that one, then you can. So for the IDs, no need to give the any system environment variables. Okay, so directly you can open, and directly you can use the IDs. Directly you can open, and directly you can use the IDs. So this is the zip format, and this zip format you can unzip. So how you can unzip? So simply click on that and extract all, and extract. So this is the way you can extract. Okay, so which is extracting actually. So might be it will take 4 to 5 minutes to extracting. Uh, zip file meaning all the files and everything in the format of compressed format. Okay, so we are converting that compressed format to normal format. This is we are extracting the all the compressed files into the normal file. Okay, so we have to extract. So once the extraction is completed, then you can open that one, and inside we have the Eclipse ID symbol. Okay, if you click on that, then you can get the you can able to open your IDE. You can able to open your IDE. That I will show you. So all the companies, every companies, so we will use IDs only. Through the IDs only you can develop the program. And so before the IDs, we need to know like how we can compile and how we can run the files. We need to know. So that is the reason. So last 20 days we learned how to write the programs by using the notepad. Once you get the clarity on notepad, then you can easily write the programs on IDs also. Then easily you can write the programs on IDs also. Okay, so click on Eclipse and go to inside. This is the Eclipse symbol. Okay, click on that eclipse.exe, and then your ID will open. You can take any workspace. So by default it take one. This is the by default path. If you want, you can take any other path also. For example, if you want to create one folder on the desktop, and that desktop path, that folder path you can give here, and that is the workspace. So you can use that is as a workspace. Okay, now I am launching my Eclipse on that workspace location. And yeah, like this my Eclipse got created. Actually, I have opened my Eclipse in already working location. So that is the reason directly it open like this. So in your case also you will get the dashboard like this. Okay, so once you get the dashboard like this, then you need to create the project. How you can create the project? So simply you can go to the file, and here you can create the new, and then project, Java project. Click on the Java project, and then here you can give the name. Here you can give the name. So in my case, I'm giving name as the demo. Okay, so my project name is, I would like to mention demo project, and then click on the demo, and then next. Okay, and then finish. So no need to mention anything, and this is the module.info. No need. Okay, so your project got created. Your project got created. So the same thing you can do in your case also. So download Eclipse, and the second point is extract the zip file, extract the zip file, and extract the zip file and open IDE. Open IDE, and then so once you open the IDE, there you can give the work location. You can give work location. So by default, it will take one path. You can give the workspace location. Workspace location. Okay, and then after that, once you give the workspace location, then it will open the IDE. Then you can create the project. How you can create the project? New option, and then Java project, Java project, and then there you can give the project name. Project name. So in my case, uh, I gave the name is demo. Demo is my project name. So in your case also, you can give any name. So in my case, I'm giving the demo, and then next, and finally can give the finish. So with that, I have successfully created my project. I have successfully created my project. So in that, my project got created. So here, demo is the project. In the JRE is the library. So here all the predefined classes and everything are available. Predefined classes, generally there we have the document, right? Java SCA document. This is the document. These predefined classes and everything, so they're already available in our IDE. So whenever you download the IDE, so this automatically, these all are the predefined libraries are automatically available in the uh, this JRE system library. Okay, JRE system library. And now I want to create the basic programs. So if you want to create the basic programs, we need package. So how you can create the package? So click on go, and src new, and click on the package. Click on the package. So here I can mention the package name is the basic programs. Basic programs. Okay, and then click on finish. Click on finish. Okay, this is the package. With that, you want to create the class. How we can create? So first one is click on the package. Click on the package, new, and take the class. This is the one approach. And second approach, we have the shortcut. This is the one approach. Second approach, we have the shortcut. You can go with take the class name. The class name you can take anything. So that is a demo, and then click on finish. So the class got created. The class got created. Okay, the class got created. The class name is the demo, and the class is the keyword. The class got created, right? Like till now, like we did the programs generally. So here, for example, if you want to main method, so simply click on sysout and control spacebar. So for shortcuts in the IDs, we can use the control spacebar. Then it will give the suggestions. Then it will give the suggestions. So for every program execution, we start from the main method, right? So here you can take the main method, and so it is giving the suggestions. Okay, so click on enter, then your main method will come. So instead of writing everything, so IDs will provide the shortcuts. So through that you can easily develop programs. So that is the advantage with the IDs. That is the advantage with the IDs. Okay, fine. This is the main method. Now I will take some sysout statement, and here directly here I can mention welcome, welcome, and then you can save the file, and then you can run the file. Click on the file, and you can run as Java application. Then the file you can able to run. The file you can able to run. Okay, the file you can able to run. So where you have the option, that is the console. So view and console, window, and show view. Save the file. Now you can run the file. Go to show view. Show view. Open console. Where is outline? Save the file. You can run this one. Run as Java application. So this is the thing, general thing, like so where you can write the programs, and through that we can run the files, and we can use the programs like this demo.java. So here the program here also can take the file, run as our application. Window show view, and here that can go with console main method. So this is the normal approach, and you can take the project, and with that we will take the packages, and in that we will write the classes, and then we can run the programs. Okay, we can run the program. So you can use the any IDE, like you can take Eclipse, and you can take I would say you can take any IDE. You can use Visual Studio, or you can use IntelliJ. Anything you can utilize. Okay, anything you can use, no issue. Anything you can use, no issue. Okay, fine. So after that, so this is all about the IDE. I hope you guys got the clarity how to download the IDE, and what is the advantage with the IDE. Why the people are going with the IDE only. So in the IT industries, in all companies, we will use the IDs only. So that is the reason we will do. These are the advantages with go with the IDs. Okay. Okay, fine. Next we have the concept, that is the types of variables. We have the concept, that is the types of variables. Types of variables. So before going to start the variables, so we know already variables, right? So what is the variables? So variables are used to variables are used to the basic level. Variables are used to Variables are used to store the data. Variables are used to store the data. Okay, so generally int a equal to some 10, and 10 is the value. This 10 value we are assigning into the a variable. 10 is the value, that value we are assigning into the a variable. Okay, so at the last 20 days, so in the previous sessions we learned only the basic level. Why only the basic level? Meaning we don't have such maturity to understand the types of variables. That is the reason we learned only the basic level. Basic level meaning only what does it mean by variable and how we are assigning the value to the variable. Only the basic thing we learned in the variable. Only the basic thing we learned in the variable. Okay. So today we will learn. So in Java, generally in Java, variables are divided into three types. Variables are divided into three types. Three types. What are the three types? So the first one is, what are the three types? The first one is three types. The first one is, I would say, instance variables. Instance variables, and this instance variables also called as global variables. Global variables, and this global variables also called as non-static variables. Non-static variables. Non-static variables. Okay, so after that, next we have the static variables. So these variables we did not use till now. From last 20 days, when we did not use these variables, instance variables, we did not use the instance variables. Okay, now the second variable we have the static variables. The second variables we have the static variables. Second variables we have the static variables. And third one we have the local variables. Third one we have the local variables. Local variables. So last 20 days we did not use these two variables. We used only local variables. So whatever the programs we did and whatever the things we did till now, we use the local variables only. Okay, and we did not use, from then to till now we did not use these two variables. Why? Because we don't have such maturity to understand these two variables. So that is the reason last 20 days we did not discuss about two variables. Okay, okay, fine. So we'll go with one by one. So first we'll go with instance variables. We'll go with instance variables. So what does it mean by instance variables? So generally instance variables meaning the variables which are declared, the variables which are declared, the variables which are declared, which are declared inside the class and outside the method. Inside the class and outside the method. And outside the method is called instance variables. Instance variables. Okay, the variables which are declared inside the class and outside the method. Inside the class and outside the method is called instance variables. Instance variables. Okay, so next one is instance variables. Next one is instance variables. We can access. We can access all the methods. We can access all the methods. All the methods. So that is the reason. That's why instance variables are called as instance variables are called as instance variables are called as global variables. Global variables. Why? Because like I will show you normally. So till now how we can write the programs. Public class, the class name is the demo, and from here to here this is the scope of the class. And after that, like we took one main method, and in that we took one main method, and in that we took like main method. So whatever the programs we did written inside, I would say last 1 month, so all the variables you can declare inside the main method. Okay, so if you declare any variables inside the main method, then that is called local variables. But here if you see this one, the variables which are declared inside the class and outside the method is called instance variables. This is the class and this is the method, and if you declare any variables Okay, if you declare any variables inside the class and outside the method, then that is called instance variables. This is instance variable. Now this is the instance variable. This is the instance variable. Okay, so that is the one point we have to remember. Instance variables, we can access all the methods. So that's why instance variables are called global variables. Instance variables are called global variables. Next point. Next point. Initialization of instance variable. Initialization of, okay, so initialization of instance variable is optional. Initialization of instance variable is optional. Initialization of instance variable is optional. Optional meaning, so here I'm initializing. This is the mandatory. No need. Okay, this is optional. Initialization of instance variable is optional. So that is the thing you have to remember. So initialization of instance variable is optional. Initialization of instance variables is the optional. Next point is instance variables are called object level variables. Instance variables, instance variables are called object level variables. Object level variables. So why I'm telling object level variables meaning? So generally, normally I will show you that one. Okay, now here I am taking, I will use any project. For example, here I will already know how to create the project and all. So Java project, and you can click on the Java project. Now here I am giving the Java project, that is the tester. Okay, test project I am giving. Okay, simply can click on the project name. Next, and then next thing is you can select. Okay, finish. Now we can take the, don't create any modules. Now you can take the test project and you can control N is the shortcut. Now we want package. Click on the package and give the package name. So here I am giving the basic programs. Basic programs. Okay, click on finish. So package got created. Inside the package and click, simply can control N and look for the class and create the class. So here I am giving the class name as the tester. Okay, I am giving the class name as the tester. Okay, now here this is the main method. You can take the main method, simply uh, type the main and click the control space bar, then you can get the auto sessions. And here you can take now instance variables, meaning the variables which are present inside the class and outside the variables. For example, int a equal to, for example, I mention 10. So the variable, I initialize my instance variable. Now what I will do, I will create, so directly can I call like this sysout statement, and directly can I call this, directly can I call like this? No. Why? Because instance variables we cannot call directly. We cannot call directly. So that is the reason. That is the reason what I am saying here. So, but in the last sessions, in the last 20 days, what we did generally, so here inside the main method only, we initialize the variable. This is the instance variable. This is the instance variable. This is the instance variable. But if you run this one, then you can get the result. you can get the result. Okay, but if you go, this is a local variable. In the last 28 days, we did the programs on the local variable. But if you come here, it is throwing the error. Why? Because instance variables are called object level variables. Object level variables. Now I can come to my program. I can come to my program. Okay, instance variables are called object level variables. And next point is when you create the object, when you create the object, when we create the object, and next point is when we create the object, next point is when we create the object. So JVM will allocate the memory. When we create the object, memory will be allocated for the instance variables. Memory will be allocated. Memory will be allocated. Memory will be allocated for the instance variables. For the instance variables, memory will be allocated for the instance variables. Memory will be allocated for the instance variable. And here one more point: if you, if I would say, if we don't initialize, if we don't initialize instance variables, if you don't initialize the instance variables, then it will be initialized. It will be initialized. It will be initialized It will be initialized with the default values when the object created. Okay, it will be initialized with the default values when object created. When object created, already you know the default values. Uh, Object created. So if we don't initialize the instance variables, if we don't initialize the instance variable, it will be initialized with default values when the object is created. When the object is created. When the object is created. And next, so this one I will show you the practically also. Then you know you can get the clarity on it. So I will take MS Paint, and through that I can explain. I can take MS Paint. Now what will happen generally here? Okay, so normally, for example, how you can create the object. So you know already the objects will be stored in the heap memory. Okay, you can assume this is the heap memory, and this is the heap area. Okay, when you create the object, that object will be stored in the heap memory. For example, here I would like to take public, and class is the keyword. Class is the keyword. I'm taking demo, and here to here we can assume we have the main method, and this is the main method. I would like to take main method, public static void main. Okay, so here we can have the string and args variable name args, and inside this, so generally we are discussing about the instance variables. So instance variables meaning the variables which are declared inside the class. This is the class and this is the method. Okay, the variables which are declared inside the class and outside the method, that variables are called instance variables. Okay, fine. Now I am taking int a. So initialization is optional or mandatory? Initialization is optional. Okay, if you initialize, that is okay. If you not initialize, then if you not initialize, then the JVM will provide default values. What is the default value for the integers? So in this case, we'll try to go with, for example, this is the int, and so instance variables are called object level variables. If you want to call the instance variables, you have to mention, you have to access by using the class name, by using the object name. So that is the reason. So from from starting days to till now we not discussed about the instance. So that is the reason why, because instance variables you can access by using the object only. So that I will show you. We can access we can access we can access instance variables. We can access we can access instance variables. We can access the instance variables by using objects only, by using objects only. So we can say access, invoke, or calling. Three words you can use: invoking, and you can call. Three words you can use. Okay. So that is the reason instance variables are called object level variables. Okay. In this scenario, what will happen? Okay, I'm not initialize any value, and here I am trying to call this one. If I try to this call this one, so I need to create the object for this demo. Okay, so how could you create new operator demo? Okay, so then what will happen? So the object got created inside the heap memory. This object got created, and then this object I'm storing in one reference variable. That reference variable is I am giving some demo. Okay, this is the demo object, and this one is the demo object, and this is the reference variable name. This is the reference variable name. This is the reference variable name. So if not I assign any value, for example here I'm mentioning demo. Okay, and then demo, this is the object, and if I want to call this one, then I can call simply, I can take the SOP statement demo dot a. I'm calling the a variable. Okay, I'm calling the a variable. This is the case number one. This is case number one. Okay, case number one. So I will show you the practical also, then you can get the clarity on it. For example, I can go to my program, and here I'm not initialize the variable. I won't initialize. Okay, I declare the variable. Now this is the instance variable. If you want to access the instance variable, you have to create the object. So for that purpose we have the object, that is the test, and then the object got created inside the heap memory, and that object you cannot directly reuse anywhere. That is the reason that entire object I am storing in reference variable name, and the class name is the tester. The class name is the text. Okay, so now I am calling the test dot a, meaning I am calling the object. I'm calling the instance variable. So this instance variables, again what I will do, I will take the sysout statement, and in that I will take the sysout statement. Okay, and in that you can pass the test.a. Now you can see the result. If I run this file, if I run this file, and you can run this file, now you can get the default value. Already you know what are the default values for I would say, for example, if I take the string, if I take the string, and it will get, you will get the default values. So in the I would say in the previous classes, okay, you will get the null. So the JVM, if you not initialize the instance variables, then JVM will provide the default values. JVM will provide the default values. For example, if I pass any values here, if I pass any values, so what will happen here? For example, here if I pass any other value like some 20, and now I can save the file. Now I can run this one. We are getting the value as the 20. We are getting the value as the 20. So the thing is, what will happen in the case number 2? What will happen in the case number 2? So we'll see with case number 2. If you don't initialize, then the JVM will provide default value. If you initialize, then the JVM will assign that value only. Okay, so here in the case number 2, so generally here in the case number 2, this is, we'll try to understand case number 2. Okay, we'll try to understand case number 2. Okay, same thing. This is the previous case. Now what I am doing, I am initializing the instance variable. Okay, now I am initializing the instance variable. Initializing the instance variable meaning, so here I am passing the value. Here I am passing the variable. This is the variable, and this variable is holding the variable that is int a equal to 20. This is the second case. But in case a, if you not provide any values, the JVM by default it will provide the default values. By default it will provide the default values. And one more important point here you can remember. One more important point is the JVM in the instance variables. Every object will maintain every object will maintain its own copy of the instance variable, its own copy of the instance variable, copy of the instance variables, copy of the instance variables. Okay, every object will maintain its own copy of the instance variables. Every object will maintain copy of the its own instance variables. Every object will maintain its own copy of the instance variables. Its own copy of the instance variables. Instance variables. Now I can go to the program. Okay, I can go to the program. Now, for example, here I will create two more objects. For example, this is the demo one, and again one more object also I will create. So I will create the objects here, then you can get the clarity. Here I am creating the objects demo and demo one. Okay, so equal to new demo. Okay, so this is the object one got created, and next one how the demo, and demo 2 equal to new demo, new demo. So what I told you, every object, so what will happen generally, so two objects got created. Okay, this is the object 1 and this is the object 2. This is the object 1 and this is the object 2. Every object will maintain copy of the instance variable, copy of the instance variable. For example, if you see here, a is having, we declare the a variable here, right? We declare the a variable int a equal to, we declare the a variable, and here you can pass demo dot a, and here also can pass the value demo dot a, demo dot demo2 dot a. So every object we can initialize the instance variables. For example, here I would like to take integer, and for example here I would like to take some string value, so that I will show you the program only also, then you can get the clarity. For example, here this is the, I'm taking int age. Okay, now here I would like to take some string name. Okay, some string name I would like to take. Okay, fine. Now I will take the variables names. This is the test one, and here I will take the test2, test2. Okay, two objects got created. So what I told you, every object will maintain copy of the instance variable. So these are the two instance variable, right? So these two instance variables, this object will maintain one copy, this object will maintain one copy. Okay, so that is the reason. Now what I will do, so I will initialize the values. How I can initialize the values? Test a1 dot age equal to some 25. I'm initializing the instance variables. Similarly, test1 dot name equal to name equal to some Raju, some Raju. Similarly, here also test to age, some Rani. The age I am taking some 22, and test to dot name equal to some Rani, some Rani. Okay. Now the thing is here, the two are the same, but in the object level, when you create the multiple objects, every object will maintain copy of its own instance variables, copy of its own instance variables, copy of its own instance variables. So that is the thing you have to remember. And if you want to print this one, you can take the sysout statement. You can take the sysout statement. You can mention with the age. You can directly take test one dot age. Okay, similarly, you can take with test one dot name, test one dot name. Okay, so test one dot name. So here I am doing the concatenation. So similarly, I can do with respect to this one also. Now if I run this one, now I can get the 2% details. I can get the 2% details. 25 Razu and 22 Rani. 25 Razu and 22 Rani. So for example, if I don't initialize these values, then what will happen? The JVM will provide the default values. JVM will provide the default values. It will provide the default values. So that I will show you one more time through the MS Paint also, like what is the process internally happening. Then you can get the clarity on it. Okay. So for example, the same program I am taking here. The class name is public. Class name is the test. Okay. So instance variables meaning inside the class and outside the method. Okay. So here I am taking main method. I am taking directly shortcut PSVM. Here we have the main method, and before main method we will take the two variables. Two variables are, I would say, int age, and next one is the string name. Here you should take the PSVM. This is the main method, and inside the main method. So these are the instance variables. If you want to access the instance variables, you have to manually create the object. So that only can able to access. So for example, if you create the objects like this, for example, if you create the objects like new, directly I will take new test object got created inside the heap memory. I will take the heap area. So which should be like this. Okay, object got created, and this is the object got created. Okay, object got created. Now this object I can store in some reference variable. That reference variable name is the demo, and this reference variable name is the demo. Okay, and this is the can mention with some test. Okay, you can mention with some test, not a demo. This is here I can mention with the tester. Okay, this reference name is the tester. Test one I am mentioning, test one. Okay, and this class name, the data type is the test. Data type is the test. Now directly if I take SOP statement and if I try to print these values, meaning test1 dot age and test1 dot age, plus you can do the concatenation and test1 dot name, test1 dot name. So in this case, so if you don't initialize the values, what will happen? So the JVM, it will provide the default values for the integer. The default values for the integer is the integer. So every object will maintain a copy of the instance variables, right? Integer a equal to age equal to, it will provide the default value is 0. And next string value is string name equal to some, it will provide the default value is the null. Default value is the null. Okay, when you go with this approach, it will provide like this. No, you don't like the default values, you want to provide your own values, your own values. Then what you can do at the time, you can initialize the instance variables. How you can initialize? You can initialize the instance variables by using object name, by using the reference name. So in this case, how you can initialize? So you can initialize test, test1 dot age, age equal to, I'm mentioning some 25. Then what will happen here? Instead of this one, we are initializing the value age equal to 25, age equal to 25. Also here in case of name also, we don't like the name. So test1 dot name equal to, test1 dot name equal to, I'm mentioning some Raju, which is in the format of string, right? So I have to mention some Raju, meaning, so we don't want to null value. So we want to initialize the values. The value is name equal to, name equal to Raju, name equal to Raju, name equal to Raju. Okay. Somebody is trying to join now. Okay, this is with respect to object one. So here what we are doing. So this object, this is the object. This object is maintaining copy of the instance variable. Okay, these instance variables will vary object to object. For example, here we can take one more object. The object is test t2 equal to new test. In this case, what will happen? You guys please concentrate, very important topic. Okay, if you miss the concentration in 1 minute also, you cannot understand the concept. Okay, every topic, every point is interlinked with coming topics. Now what will happen? Object got created here. Okay, and this is the object. And if you don't mention, if you don't initialize, then JVM will provide the default values. JVM will provide the default values. For example, here, if I use the sysout statement, SOP statement, and test2 or test2 dot age, and I am doing the concatenation. Okay, and test2 dot name. So in this case, what will happen? It will take the default values. It will print the default values on the console, meaning age equal to, some 0 and name equal to null values. This is the default value, right? I don't want default values. I want to initialize my own values. How could I? So what I told you, every object will maintain copy of the instance variables, right? Here, what you can do, you can pass the values. How you can pass the values in the object level? So here you can pass the value age equal to test2 dot, test2 dot. Why I am mentioning test2? So for this text, we have the instance variables. Every object will maintain copy of the instance variable. Okay, this object have the separate instance variables, and this object have the separate instance variables. So that is the reason I am telling you every object maintain separate instance, its own copy of the instance variables, its own copy of the instance variables. Okay, now I don't want the predefined values. I don't want predefined values. In that, I want my own values. How could I initialize my, how could I pass my own values? Test2 dot age, test2 dot age equal to 22, 22 number. Okay, meaning instead of old values, instead of null values, instead of default values, you are passing the values 22. Similarly, test2 dot test2 dot name equal to, I am passing some Rani. I am passing some Rani. Here also I don't like the default values. I want to provide my values. Name equal to Rani. Name equal to Rani. So this is the approach. So finally, when you go with the SOP statement, then finally you will get the clarity. Here the very important point you have to remember is every object will maintain the copy of the instance variables. Every object, if you create 4 5 objects also, every object will maintain the copy of the instance variables. Here the properties are the same, but in the object level, every object is maintaining the copy of the instance variable. Copy of the instance variable. So this is the approach you have to understand. This is the approach you have to understand. So I hope this is clear with instance variables. I hope this is clear with instance variables. Okay, next the example is this one. So you can take here. Here you can give the values like test1 dot test1 dot age equal to some 32. Next test1 dot name equal to some Raju or Rani. Raju. Here also you can do the same process. Age equal to some 30 and test2 dot name equal to some, I can say some run. Now I can save the file. Now I can run the file. Now I can get the results. Now you can get the results. Okay. Now you can get the results. So this is all about instance variables. Okay. So next we have the topic that is the static variables. Static variables. So what is the syntax? What is the example for this one is this one. Instance variables example is this one. This is the example. Okay. After that, we have the topic that is the static variables. Static variables. So the first point is the variables which are declared. The variables which are declared inside the class. Okay, inside the class and outside the method. Outside the method with the static keyword. With a static keyword. With the static keyword. With the static keyword is called static variables. Is called static variables. Is called static variables. So static variables meaning. So I will show you generally. For example, public class. The class name is the demo, and from here to here, this is the scope of the class. And here you can take the main method, and so already this basic skeleton already you know. Now, so what I told you, the variables which are declared inside the class and outside the method. So if you take the inside class, for example, int age equal to, this is one instance variable, and a string name equal to, and this is one variable. And which the variables which are declared with static, then that is called static variables. For example, if I declared with static, and then this is called static variable. Why the people they has introduced the static variable? Why the people they has introduced the static variable? Because so generally I would say some examples I will tell you, then you can get the some clarity on it. We'll see some few more points. So generally the static variables also called as class level variables. Static variables are called as class level variables. Class level variables. Class level variables. Okay, we can access the we can access the static variables. We can access the static variables by using class name only. By using class name only. By using class name only. Okay. So when will you go with the static variables? When will you go with the I would say instance variables? I will tell you. So how the JVM will treat it in case of static variables? When the class code load into the JVM, load into the JVM, load into the JVM, immediately, 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 JVM, immediately it will allocate the memory. It will allocate the memory for static variables. Static variables. Okay. So generally here the thing is you have to remember. So the JVM has the two friends. So the program is not we have to not a difficult. You have to remember with some examples. Then you can easily get the clarity. So for example, the JVM has two friends. One is the instance variable. Second one is the static variable. For example, in your home, you are doing some function. You invited two friends. One is your close friend, and the second guy is also your friend, but not much close. Then they both you invited both of them, and they also came to your home for the function. So how you treat in two guys? How you treat how you treat your best friend? How you will treat normal friend? So obviously you can treat the your best friend like you can give some room, and you will provide some special features, meaning some room like that, right? So here also in the JVM, in Java also, the JVM has the two friends. One is the instance variable, second one is the static variable. Static variable is the very close friend to the JVM. Okay, so when class code load into the JVM, immediately the JVM what it will do, it will look for the static keywords. Wherever the static keywords are present inside the program, wherever the static keywords are present inside the keyword, so immediately it will allocate the memory initially for the instance variables. Mem- uh, for the instance variables, but I would say immediately it will allocate the memory for the static variables. Static variables. But in case of instance variables, not like that. Okay, you have to create the manually object, so then only you can able to access instance variables. But in case of static variables, not like that. You can directly JVM directly it will find out the static keywords. Wherever the static keywords are available, then immediately it will allocate the memory. Then immediately it will allocate the memory. Immediately it will allocate the memory. So here, what is the purpose of this thing is, so here all objects will maintain, all objects will maintain same copy of the instance variables, same copy of the instance variables, instance. So why the instance variables topic came into the picture generally? Now you guys see here. So in our institute, like total we have the 60 members you can assume. And so if I take like this, for example, mm, institute name, string institute name, institute name. Okay, okay, fine. Now I want to uh, store the student details, like whoever is studying, okay, whoever is doing the Java coaching. So I want to take the student details. How could I take? So simply I can take the new object demo, and then again I will store this one is d1 is the object name, and demo. So this is the one student object. So similarly I can create the, this is the second student, and similarly I can take, this is the third student. Okay, this is the third student. I can change the student object names, student 1, student 2, and we can say student 3. So instead of demo, you can take the student details. Student details. Now, so here I want to take d1 dot. The student name is, student age is, I would like to mention some 20. Okay, fine. Next up, student. Next, student name. Student name I would like to mention some Raju. Raju. Next up, student institute. Institute name is d1 dot. Institute name is some such, right? I can mention institute name equal to such. Okay, so the same case I can copy this and here in case of 2 also, here I can mention d2 dot 21. Okay, and d2 dot object 2. Object 2 is the Rani. I'm taking as the Rani, and here also d2 dot institute name is also same such, and in case of 3 also we'll mention the same. So 3 dot age equal to some, here we would like to take some 24, and d3 dot name, d3 dot name equal to some Radha, will take some, this is the string, right? Then you can take with the double quotation, this is the some Radha. Okay, and similarly we can take with the d3 dot institute name, d3 dot institute name equal to some such. Now you guys observe here. So all the student here I took 3 students. Okay, student 1, 2, 3. If you guys observe, so each student properties are different, like age. First, if you go with the Razu age is the 20. Razu name is the student name is the Razu, and where he is studying? He is studying in the same Surge Institute. Okay, fine, very good. And next student, you can go with the next student. Next student age is the 21, and the student name is the Rani, and where she is studying, she is also studying in the same Surge, right? And the next you can go with the student number 3. Student number 3's age is the 24, and name is the Radha, and he is also studying in same institute. Then all the people are studying in the same institute. Then if you go with like every time if you are declaring like this, then what will happen? Obviously our memory will be wasted, right? Our memory will be wasted. Why? Because already all the students are belonging to only one institute only. Then why you are taking all the multiple times the same institute? So how you can, if you go with this approach, this you can run this one, then this program also uh, we can execute, and we can we will get the results. But this is the not a good, this is the not recommended approach. Meaning every time already the comment content, if you are initializing every time, for example in our class we have the 60 student. If I write if I initialize the 60 times like this, then obviously it will take the more time, and every time how to initialize, we have to assign the memory. This is the not good approach. So whatever the common content is available, so every student common thing is institute name, right? So such common things we can declare as the static. That common things we can declare as the static. Static is the keyword. Then that's enough. So no need to every time, no need to mention here. So whatever the common content is available, then they directly can use that one. Then directly can use this one. So if it is the class static variable, then you can directly can call by using class name. So what is the class name? Demo dot and the variable name. You can directly can class with the institute name. So this is the better thing, right? So compared to like every time for every student, if you initialize the like the common institute name, then our program will work. But that is the not a recommended approach. Every time you have to initialize the variable, and every time you have to assign the memory. That is the not good thing, right? That is the not good thing. That is the not good thing. So when will you go over the instance variables, and when will you go with the static variables? Meaning when we have the common content, at the time we can go with the when we have the common content, and at the time we can go with the static variables. At the time we can go with the static variables. When we want to store the different variables, when we want to store the different variables, and at the time we can go with the instance variables. Okay, so that is also very important question. What is the difference between the static variables and when we want to go with when we want to go with when we want to go with instance variables and static variables. Static variables. So this is the question they regularly they will ask. Like the this is the regular question they will ask generally. So here the thing is, if you want to store different values, if you want to store different value, different values based on the objects, different values based on the object, based on the object, then use instance variables. Okay. The next point, if you want to store the same values, if you want to store the same values, if you want to store the same values, if you want to store the same values for all the objects, for all the objects, then use static variables. Then use static variables. Then use static variables. Then use static variables. So this is the general difference. So this one I will show you the programmatical also. So for example, here you can come here. So you can declare with the static keyword, and you can mention with the static institute name. Okay, institute name, and then you can declare here, and now directly you can call here. Okay, so how we can access? You can take this out statement. You can directly call the test dot institute name. Okay. So here also, if you don't mention, if you don't pass the initial, I would say if you don't initialize the static variable, then it will provide the default values. You don't want default values. If you want your own values, then you can pass your own value. How we can pass your own value? Here only can pass your own value. The value is some such I am mentioning, like as a such. I can save this one. Now I can run this one. I can get it as the such. So the same statement I can copy from here, and then here also I can mention. Here also I can mention, for example, here also I can mention. So this is the good thing, right? So compared to
previous case. So directly we are coming the data, directly we are coming the data, search and state search. So we want also same, right? We want also same thing. We want also same. And one more point, if the like the variable and we are accessing, if it is the same file, directly we can call directly also. We can call directly also. Okay, directly also. If it is the same file, you can directly call directly also. Meaning directly with the help of static variable also can directly you can call. Okay, so this is you can run this one. Now you can get the result. We can get the result. So this is all about, I would say this is all about static variables and instance variables. This is all about static variables and instance variables. Okay, after that we have the method that is the local variable. That after that we have the topic that is the local variable. Local variable. Local variables. So what is the definition for the local variables? The variables. Okay, the variables which are declared. The variables which are declared inside the class. The variables which are declared inside the variables which are declared inside the method constructor block, inside the method or constructor or block are called local variables. Local variables. So past 20 days we did the programs on we did the programs by using the local variables only, by using the local variables only. Okay, here the point you can remember, if you declare, okay, if you declare the local variables, if you declare the local variables inside the method, local variables inside the method, inside the method, inside the method, we have to use, we have to use, or you can say we can access, we can access inside the method only. We can access inside the method only, inside the method only, inside the method only, inside the method only. So before accessing the method, we have to initialize. So before accessing the variables, before accessing the local variables, we have to initialize. So we need to initialize. We need to initialize. We need to initialize. We need to initialize. We need to initialize the. We need to initialize them. We need to initialize them. We need to initialize them. Okay. So here the point is, so what will happen after the JVM will allocate the memory, JVM will allocate the memory at the time of execution, at the time of methods execution. JVM will allocate the memory, JVM will allocate, JVM will allocate the memory at the time of program execution, at the time of, at the time of program execution, program or method execution, method execution. Once the execution is completed, once execution is completed, once execution is completed, then the JVM will automatically delete the local variables. Then JVM automatically remove remove the local variables, local variables. So the JVM will initialize the memory at the time of execution only. Okay, at the time of execution only. So once the method is completed, immediately it will, immediately it will remove the, so that the JVM will allocate the memory, JVM will allocate the memory at the time of methods execution, at the time of execution, allocate the memory at the time of execution, at the time of execution. Once the execution is completed, then it will automatically remove the local variables. Then automatically it will remove the local variables. So that I will show you. So last all the sessions. So here I will take one more program. This is the main method, and inside the main method, and the variables which are declared inside the method are inside the block, inside the class, that is called variables, that is called local variables. Local variables. So for example, if I take the variables like int age equal to like some like uh, like some 25, and so before accessing the variables before accessing you have to initialize the variables. So I have successfully initialized. Now I'm accessing the instance variables. So how you can access by using the like this. So this variable we can utilize in this method only. Okay, this variable we cannot use outside the method. Like because local variables we have to use inside the method only. We have to use inside the method only. Now I can run this one and run as the Java application 25. So what are the programs we did till now? So all are comes under the category of local variables. All are the comes under the category of local variables. So this is all about types of variables. This is all about types of variables. Okay, so I will repeat one more time. So instance variables. So generally variables in the basic level, we know like what does it mean by variable. But at the time we not discuss in depth of variables. Okay, in Java, in Java, generally the variables are divided into three types. Okay, instance variables, global variables, and also non-static variables. Non-static variables. Instance variables mean variables which are declared inside the class and outside the method is called instance variables. Okay. Next, instance variables we can access all the methods. That's why instance variables are called global variables. Next, instance variables is instance variables. Initialization initialization of instance variables is optional. Initialization of instance variables is optional. Okay, and instance variables are called object level variables. When we create the object, memory will be allocated for the instance variables. If we don't initialize the instance variables, then it will be initialized with the default values when object created. Next, we can access or invoke or call instance variable by using the object. Every object will maintain the copy of the its own. Every object will maintain its own copy of the instance variable. Okay, so that we discuss with example also. So this is the one assignment you have to do with respect to instance variables. There you can take two variables and you can create two more objects you can create, like three objects, four objects you can take. Like that you can assign the value. Those values you can print. Those values you can print. That is the one assignment with respect to instance variables. And the second one is static variables. Static variables, the variables which are declared inside the class and outside the method with the static keyword is called static variables. Static variables are called as class level variables, and we can access. Okay, we can access the static variables by using the class name. And when class load into the JVM, immediately it will allocate memory for static variables. Memory for static variables. All object will maintain copy of the same instance variables. When the objects having the same content, same variables, at the time you can go with the static variables. Already we discussed about like when will you go with the instance variables and when will you go with the static variables. Okay, you can take this one as the one example. and then you can print the data. That is the assignment number 2. That is the assignment number 2. And in the third assignment, and in the third assignment, this is also very important question, when we want to go with the instance variables and when we want to go with static variables. If you want to store the different values based on the object, then use instance variables. If you want to store the same values for all objects, then use static variables. Next, we have the local variables. The variables which are declared inside the method are constructor or block are called local variables. And if you declare the local variables inside the method, you can access inside the method only. Before access the local variable, we need to initialize them. JVM will allocate the memory at the runtime execution. At the time of execution, JVM will allocate the memory at the time of method execution. Once the execution is completed, the JVM automatically remove the local variables. So that is the reason local variables are called temporary variables. Local variables are called temporary variables. Local variables are called temporary variables. So once the program execution is completed, then automatically the JVM will remove local variables. That is called local variables are called temporary variables. So this is the class level variable, and this one is the class level variable. This is the class level variable, and this is the object level variable. So this is all about types of variables. Very, 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 very important types of variables. Okay, so you guys practice with 3 programs with respect to instance variables, static variables, and local variables. Do the programs on it, and please take the screenshot of it and you can share in the group. Also, some of them are guys are not doing the assignments. So you guys not doing the assignments won't allow the classes also. So that I am requesting from my side. Please do the assignments, guys. So without doing the assignments, we don't allow the classes also. Okay. So please do the assignments. Share in the group. Okay, every topic, okay, whatever the topic we are discussing, and every word is coming, whatever the words is coming my mouth, every topic is important and every word is important, and every topic is interlinked with coming topics. Every topic is interlinked with coming topics. So please do practice and share in the group. Okay, so please share your names, guys.